an entire intro and realized I wasn't filming. So, hello friends! Welcome to this week. I think I need more coffee. Hot coffee on a cold day. There's nothing like it. This week, we are going to be working really hard. I am going to take you along with me as I work to finish the plot for my book and finish up the visual plotting board and really make headway into this story. I don't know that I've really talked about what my next novel is going to be, like just face to face. I am writing a Beauty and the Beast romantasy. This is something that I've been wanting to write since I was 16. I think I mentioned this a little bit in my last video, but if you didn't know, I have been writing for a really long time. That will make it 20 years since I finished the first novel I ever wrote, and I have always wanted to write a Beauty and the Beast novel. Beauty and the Beast is my absolute favorite Disney movie. It's my favorite fairy tale. I always wanted to be Belle. I always loved that she was a princess who loved books, and she was smart, and she was adventurous, and she didn't necessarily need saving. I am essentially pursuing writing the novel of my dreams, pursuing the life that the career of my dreams, I guess, and I'm taking you along with me. This year will be really interesting because the focus of my whole channel will be like what life is like pursuing a dream like this as a full-time stay-at-home mom, full-time content creator, juggling everything from like doing the housework, cooking, cleaning, parenting kids, what kind of time it takes to be a full-time author and a stay-at-home mom. So hopefully you all enjoy that little change. I will still be sharing recipes. I will still be sharing tidying up the house, tricks that I have found for helping to keep things going, especially when I'm on a very creative kick. But I have to tell you a secret that sometimes I don't think keeps things going, and that's where my husband steps in and he keeps things going. Let's go throw some dinner in the crock pot so that I don't have to think about it and I can just sit and finish up my plotting board and hopefully make some good headway into getting this novel written, because if I haven't mentioned it, my goal is to finish writing the first draft of this novel by June of this year. We'll see if that happens. I am feeling really good about it, but things always take a lot longer than I expect. Let's get into the week actually. This will probably be a multi-day process. But let's go put some dinner in the crock pot.
The most common question I receive as I share my daily life of creativity, productivity, parenting, and homemaking is, how do you do it all? This is a feeling I know all too well. There was a time in my life when I was very young and only just entering motherhood when I also looked at all the homemakers around me and wondered how they kept up. How were these women I followed on Instagram keeping a tidy home, creating content constantly, parenting their children, planning meals, some even homeschooling on top of it, and maintaining everything that they did so well? Then I discovered I was neurodivergent and realized something incredibly important. Their routines would never work for me. The honest truth is, I am never doing it all. There is not a single given day in my life where everything is perfectly in place, every room is beautifully clean, every meal is thought out, every day goes exactly to plan. And once I learned to give up the idea of having a perfect routine, things began to fall into place. Rather than pushing myself to stick to something rigid and rigorous, aiming constantly for a state of perfection, I began to follow the ebb and flow of my own needs. I began to pay attention to what I really needed throughout the day in order to keep up with my home, creativity, work, and very importantly, play. And even you, my dear friends, are a part of that. How I manage my house is no longer about following a strict routine. It's about structuring my days around how I can achieve my passions that day. For me, that means maintaining the hotspot rooms. This is the kitchen and the living room. If those two spaces are tidy, the rest of the house usually follows. And it means sticking to my promise to myself of pursuing a full-time author life every day. After all, if my day is not structured around achieving my dreams, what's the point?
Before we get too much further into the video, I do want to talk about the sponsor, who is City Beauty, and I have talked about them before, so you may already remember the really beautiful lip plumpers that they have. City Beauty is a brand who is dedicated to empowering women of all ages to not just feel youthful, but to feel radiant. City Beauty is focused on enhancing your natural skin rather than masking it, and their formulas are backed by science to not only provide some instant results, but also provide results that get better over time. One of the things that I have been using is the lid lifting treatment. As I am in my later 30s now, I've noticed that I'm starting to get a little bit of drooping right here, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I want to emphasize that it is okay to have hooded eyes, it is okay to have wrinkly eyes, it is okay to have a little bit of drooping, but I like to make sure that I am delivering my skin the best care that it can have, and especially as someone who struggles with extremely dry skin, which can show signs of aging a lot earlier, as well as rosacea. There's a lot of redness and flakiness going on, especially right now in winter. I really want to ensure that I'm utilizing formulas that are going to really hydrate, moisturize, and keep my skin looking age appropriate. I've also been using the line therapy for my lips. Again, because I have really dry skin, I have noticed that I'm starting to get just the tiniest bit of lines. It's really not something that I'm afraid of. I'm not afraid of aging. I'm not afraid of having wrinkles, but I have noticed that it's changing the way that my makeup applies. So having the line therapy, which helps to plump up the skin and also works on diminishing lines, has been really helpful, especially with my lipstick application. But I think that the line therapy is really helping to kind of just smooth that area over again. Now, the other thing that I've always been really careful to take care of is my hand. I am very dry. I moisturize all the time, and it's really hard to find a hand lotion that doesn't just feel oily and greasy afterwards, and their hand lotion is beautiful. Their products are all cruelty-free and paraben-free, and they are made with high-powered ingredients. So if you would like to try City Beauty out for yourself, you can use my code Kristina and the link in the description below for 20% off of your order. Thank you so much to City Beauty for sponsoring this video, and let's get back into it.
The more that I have begun to structure everything in my life around writing, the easier it has become to maintain my house. We hear it all of the time. You can't pour from an empty cup. But as someone who is a little bit of a literal thinker, I didn't really realize what that meant wasn't just taking a few minutes here and there for myself. It was truly feeding every aspect of what I want to do creatively, and everything else will flow from there. And it's the little things, like prepping the kitchen and making a chicken for dinner so that I could sit and finally figure out the plot for my story, and then finish my plotting board, which you will see in a moment. I truly believe that meeting my own creative needs has been life-changing. I am no longer sacrificing creative time in order to be a slave to my house. Rather, my house is run in order to directly provide me with the time I need creatively to pursue being a full-time author. I don't feel the desperate scramble anymore to find forgotten time in the late hours of the night to write. It is structured directly into my daily habits as a priority rather than a sideline. When someone says that you make time for what you love, I have realized this is exactly what they mean. But of course, especially as mothers, we are often conditioned to serve the needs of everyone else in the house above our own, which most often results in burnout, exhaustion, losing our spark, depression, anxiety, resentment, and feeling like we have lost ourselves. It is so important to recognize we are whole and complete people outside of our parenthood. Our children can be and are a full and wanted and joyful part of our lives, and often do take top priority. But it is also okay to pursue what we want outside of that. I would say it's not just okay, it's necessary. And all of this is not to say that I will ignore other things just to get my own creative time, but rather that my creativity and my own needs have become a necessary part of the structure of the day, alongside all of the other things that I have to do. And recognizing that my needs are a necessary part of the day, not to be sacrificed for anything else, has been so important. I am not doing it all. I am merely respecting my own needs as a whole human outside of motherhood, and I no longer sacrifice those needs when others in my house are just as capable of completing the tasks that I used to do all on my own.
Blackbird Sunday, backseat tune. Hole
walk close to you. It's just awful. So I go to a local coffee stand most mornings after I do school drop off. And today they had this cookie. It's the perfect cookie to go along with my book. You can't tell me that that's not perfect. I literally bought this simply because it goes with my book. So that's what I'm eating this morning. So today is going to be a fairly heavy writing day. Yesterday, I finally sat down and hammered out the plot. Maybe I've already mentioned this in the voiceover, but I will link below the website I use to help figure out what sections need to be where. That is so incredibly helpful to jump off from if you don't really know what you're doing when you're plotting, which I am going to be honest, I didn't really know what I was supposed to be doing. And that sounds silly to say because I have been writing for so long, but I have always been a pantser. So I'm gonna eat my cookie and I'm gonna go sit down and I'm gonna write, and we'll see how productive I can get. We'll see how far into the story I can get now that I know what's happening and what has to happen and who knows what and who has to be keeping secrets from who. And the magic system. The magic system is so important if you're writing a book. It's one of the most important things that you have to figure out, and also one of the hardest things to figure out. So anyway, let's go write my book.
Now that I have begun to structure my days more around the pursuit of writing, I always start by picking one hotspot, room, or big task that I know has to get done in a day before I sit down to write. The most necessary goals for me in the house every day are to keep the dishes clean, keep the living room floor tidy, and always have some laundry going. I have also taken the time to identify where my weak spots are and changed my habits to ensure that those things don't pile up. Instead of dumping laundry on the couch to be folded, I leave it in the basket to fold as it comes out of the dryer. This has always been one of the worst mess creators in our house, and now that I have changed that habit, it is so much easier to keep up with the laundry, especially because I prioritize at least running one load a day. Restructuring my day to include creativity as a priority has solved so many of the issues and bad habits that I had. It has become so much easier to maintain my house knowing that I will absolutely have creative time, rather than feeling as though I could never sit down and be creative because I had to maintain the house to perfection. And in tandem with that, restructuring the way that I'm filming my content to include more of my writing has given my brain the permission it needed to really spend time on what I love most. I no longer feel like I am trapped making content that's taking away from my true passion of writing. They are intertwined again, and I have never been happier with creating content than I am now. As I have mentioned, my goal is to finish the first draft of this novel by the middle of this year so that I can spend a good amount of time editing and then hopefully have it published by next year. I would love to be one of those speedy writers who pumps out a novel every 3 months, but that is just not how it works for me. I take a lot of time to perfect my plot and my writing style and my editing. I am very careful about who I select for my cover art, and I want to be better with this novel about actually having an audiobook ready to go with the rest of it. I am still working on an audiobook for The Devil and the Midwife, and am fortunate that the narrator I have found is incredibly patient. But part of choosing to pursue more of a full-time author life is so that I can be better about my timeline when it comes to things like this.
I think I'm gonna challenge myself to do like a quick 30-minute writing sprint. I feel like I've been bouncing around a lot. I have mostly been refining what I already have rather than moving forward, and one of the biggest rules that I have been trying to follow, probably the only rule I have for my writing, is to let the first draft be messy. And I'm having a hard time with that at the moment because I'm part of a writing group. It's like a small intimate writing group that a friend of mine started, and I know that, and we are essentially doing positive passes on our first drafts, but that means that I know somebody's going to be reading what I've written and it's my first draft and it's not polished, and so I'm having a hard time just letting it go. But I need to, honestly, if I want to hit my goals of being done with the first draft by June, I really have to commit to getting large portions written. So I'm gonna do a quick, probably a 30-minute writing sprint. Maybe I'll set this up to be a time lapse. I don't know if that will be very interesting, but we'll see. I'm just hoping that I can make some really good headway, because right now I feel like I am not getting anything done and I'm just stuck in this place of going around in circles trying to fix things. So wish me luck.
After finishing my main creative portion of the day, I always take time out to do one last task before everyone gets home. I have learned this is a really good time for me to finish out a task and then have a little bit of what my friend Kayla called creative input time. This is where you sit and you read a book, or you play a game, or you look at magazines, or you watch YouTube videos, or you watch a TV show. Whatever kind of creative input you need to allow your brain to relax and reset and not feel so rushed and stressed throughout the day. I have found that this is another very important structure to my day so that I'm not feeling burnt out at the end of the day. Having my little creative input times is so important in these quiet last few moments before everyone gets home from school and work. I have also been practicing completing tasks without having to watch a screen. While I do still love to watch a show while I wash dishes, I find that I don't crave screen time as much now that I have structured my day more around being creative. I have begun to get so much more done from day to day when I am not expecting myself to do everything all at once. There are far few days where I feel frozen and unable to do things, far less triggering of my executive dysfunction, and in general, I just feel more productive because I have prioritized my own needs and rest. Especially in today's society, we are so pushed to just go, 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 be as productive as possible, make as much money as possible, do as many things as possible, go as many places as possible, and that just doesn't work. Learning to prioritize rest and creativity completely changed my viewpoint of what productivity should be. So, if you feel like you are constantly behind everyone else and cannot fathom how someone else is doing it all, especially if they are a creator on the internet, the truth is, they're not. Take a step back from comparison and learn what works for you. Especially if you have young children, stop diminishing your accomplishments just because what you did doesn't match the productivity of someone else who has a different life, different needs, and a different priority. Find your ebb and flow and do what works for you and your needs. That is it for this video, my friends. Thank you again to City Beauty for sponsoring this video. If you want 20% off, you can use Kristina in the link below. I hope, as always, that wherever you are feeling safe and loved, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!